Guys, today we are going to discuss another important topic from the international relations. International relations, we did complete international organizations and current affairs relevant to the international organizations. We are going to discuss the recent current affairs relevant to the international relations, guys. World Trade Organization reforms. World Trade Organization is the organization which can be deal the disputes between the countries about trade relevant activities. There is a balance of payment activities, subsidies and tariff rates. These are the issues between the nations. They can deal the organization called WTO, World Trade Organization. Is there any reforms are going to take place every year? Yeah, of course there is a reforms. Recent reforms are what? If we come across the news, there is a Trump imposed the tariff rates for the BRICS countries. Are India going to export something, the trade relevant countries, the favorable countries, and they can import the oil from the Russia like countries? These are all the things, globalized issues relevant to the trade, and there is an organization to handle such disputes called WTO. They can take such a reforms for according to the trends, like guys, why it is news? Recently India actually want reforms to the WTO for high level ministerial meetings in the Paris, France. Guys, there is a ministry like all countries ministries like finance ministry or RBI governors, like there is central bank governors or financial ministers meetings are there under the WTO. Recent meeting took place in the Paris. India recommend some reforms in this recent meeting, guys, recent ministries meeting. Guys, just look into here. After that, the India going to took reforms in this meeting that can be implemented in the 14th ministerial conference in Cameroon 2026. Cameroon, the place, 14th ministerial meeting going to take place in the Cameroon 2026. The reforms going to be implemented by India, which is recommended into the WTO meeting Paris. Yes. So just look into here about organization WTO. We are going to discuss. This is also main the structure of the WTO. WTO is the World Trade Organization, which is originated from the pre-organization. Pre-organization is what? Before WTO, what did take responsibility? That is the organization is GATT, G-A-T-T. GATT turned into the WTO. G-A-T-T is turned into WTO. GATT turned into WTO. Okay, 1 minute, guys. GATT turned into the WTO. WTO is which is started from 1995, guys. WTO established in 1995, post Marrakesh Agreement. Marrakesh Agreement is GATT. That is actually where general agreement on tariffs and trade we can call. That is took place in 1986 to 1994 Uruguay negotiation round in the creation of WTO. Before 94 there is a Uruguay round took place 86 to 94. In that Uruguay round, of economic like trends, they created WTO in 1995. Before that, GATT is there, General Agreement Trade and Tariff. That is turned into the WTO in the Uruguay round. Okay, Uruguay is the country, South American country. There are financial rounds, mean every year there is a financial discussions are took place in the Uruguay. That is the round, one of the Uruguay round is created WTO from GATT. Okay, GATT mean General Agreement Trade and Tariff. Okay, later it is formed into the WTO in 1995. India is the one of the member from the initial, from the starting onwards. India is the one of the member of the WTO. Okay, yes, the functions what they can WTO can deal. What are the functions? Trade agreement, trade agreements. Trade mean import and exports, and trade negotiations. Trade negotiations, any like trade barriers they can handle, and capacity of developing organizations, national trade policies, and trade capacity developing organizations. National trade policies mean if the India imports such policies like import tariffs, that is also policy handled for the WTO. If India to impose subsidies on agriculture, that is also policies direction from the WTO. How much subsidies to give the farmers like agriculture, WTO itself can decide. Okay, of course, this is all the things are economic activities comes under WTO which are relevant to the international. Yeah, of course, if we give the more subsidies to the farmers like agriculture, they can give the cheap production, like the productive, like which is assume it is paddy, the rice. Okay, if give more subsidies, rice cost will be decreased, right? It is the competition of international trade. If we export more rice, the other countries can affect. In that such way, WTO can regulate and direct the policies to the other countries, how much they can give subsidies. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Members of WTO is 166. 98% world trade is under the WTO. Of course, some few countries are not in the member. India is one of the members since 1995, where WTO is established. Decision making body, it is based on the consensus, and yeah, ministerial conference, top level decision making body. There is a ministerial conference every year under the WTO. It is the top decision making body. Okay, yeah, meeting every 2 years, guys. The ministerial conference would take every 2 years. Okay, secretariats is Geneva, Switzerland. Secretariats are where it is Geneva, Switzerland. Okay, yes. And what are the some functions of the WTO? Okay, WTO going to have like such functions are agreements. Okay, what are the agreements? Okay, yeah, general agreement, tariff and trade. General agreement, tariff and trade. Guys, just it is about goods, not services. It is about goods. Okay, GATT is for goods and services. It is general agreement, trade and services. Goods and services took place, and intellectual property rights also under WTO. Okay, the agreement on trade related aspects of intellectual property rights, TRIPS. Okay, also one of the responsibility of the WTO. Guys, like goods, they can binding the commitments on the tariff for the goods, WTO itself. If goods mean we export something or we import something, we import some goods like mobiles from China. Okay, yeah, what WTO role here? Just look into here. This is the GATT under the WTO take responsibility binding commitments on such goods, like they can bind the mobiles imported from the China, combination of tariff and quotations some agriculture goods like it's not mobile. Yeah, of course, agriculture also there. Okay. Yeah, services mean we can provide services like software or other services we can provide for the other countries globally, right? Okay, covers all internationally trade services, example banking, telecommunication, tourism, professional services. Take responsibility under WTO. Okay, and if come to the intellectual property rights, it is the copyrights, trademarks and geographical indications and industrial designs and patent rights. These all functions under WTO, guys. Okay, yes, and additional details of WTO. Agreement on agriculture is comes under WTO, and sanitary and phytosanitary measures agreement, and anti-dumping agreement, trade related investment measures agreement, TRIPS. TRIPS are there, TRIPS are there. TRIPS different, TRIPS different. Okay, TRIPS is like this intellectual property. TRIM is like about goods. I hope you guys understand. Okay, yeah, intellectual property, national treatment, trading and okay, these are the intellectual property. Just look into this. WTO give the functions related goods. These are the goods functions. WTO give functions to the service level. These are the service, and WTO gives like directions or guidelines to the intellectual property rights. These are the intellectual property rights. These are the functions of the WTO relevant to the service, relevant to the goods, relevant to the intellectual property rights. Most important slide, you have to take this screenshot, guys. WTO agreements. Okay, next. Yeah, next current affairs. Next, that is WTO Ministerial Conference. India want reforms about goods and services and intellectual properties. Such a reforms about tariff and trade, India did ask. Okay, yeah, next current affairs. Economic Community of West African Nations. Okay, states. Economic Community of West African States. Guys, there is a Africa which is the continent, where it is 50 nations are there. Africa continent, 50 nations are there. There is a South Africa, West Africa, East Africa, North Africa. Such a place, West African, like where the Sahara Desert located, the down part of the Sahara Desert, there is a West African nations. They are grouped together as a states to assemble as a group called, there is a Economic Community of West African Nation, ECOWAS. Okay, why it is news right now? Why it is news it right now? Okay, they can ask you any form, guys. It is 50th anniversary. 50th anniversary took place. They can ask you which one of the following international, like it is a regional organization like SARC nations, like BRICS nations. Okay, likewise, it is the regional organization. They can ask you which one of the organization recently they celebrated 50th anniversary. West African Community nations like states, they took anniversary, 50th anniversary. In that way, what is the structure of this organization we have to see. It is established in 1975 West African countries, 15 West African countries, 1975. That is we can call Treaty of Lagos. That is we can call Treaty of Lagos. Treaty of Lagos created an organization, that is West African State Organization. The Headquarter is Abuja, Nigeria. They might not ask you headquarters because of it is not an international organization, it is a regional organization. Okay? Yep. ECOWAS, right now 12 countries. Okay? Right now they can ask you how many countries are West African state associations, like, okay, 12 countries are there. Okay? That is Benin, Cabo de Verde, Corde, Ivory, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, and Liberia, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Togo. These are the countries, guys. These are the countries. Of course, poor countries, poor administration, poor political administration, guys. Okay? Yes. What they want through this organization to promote cooperation and integration of Economic Union of West Africa, Economic Union of West Africa. Okay? Yeah. It is established for free trade from 1990. Okay? Yeah, from 2015. Guys, they might ask you how many countries are there, West African nations, for economic trade. Okay? Yes. Recently, there is a 50th anniversary. Guys, these are the West African countries, guys. The members of CANVAS, members of ECOWAS, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, and Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Togo, Benin, Nigeria. These are all West African nations, guys. Poor countries, because of water scarcity is not there. This is the Sahara Desert. Okay? Yeah, poor countries. Okay? Diplomatic relations. India become observer. India can absorb, India can also invite, okay, as a guest. Okay? Yeah. Guys, South-South cooperation. South-South cooperation. India also South Asia. This is the West Africa comes under South. So South-South cooperation is took place through India support for this developing countries, guys. Okay? Ministry of Understanding is there. India provide, there is a direction of renewable energy efficiency and India International Solar Alliance, ISA. India International Solar Alliance, which is created in the Paris Agreement 2015, guys. Created in the Paris Agreement. There is a COP 21, 2015. India created ISA, International Solar Alliance. So we have to promote our ISA into these countries, guys. Okay? Yes. And that is the cooperation we have to do. And India, they gave for them $250 million. Focus of African, some programs. India launched integrated program, Focus Africa 2002 and 3, Focus Africa. Guys, India gave funds for them, but China gave infrastructure and China use the natural resources of Africa. They can give infrastructure, at the same time they can rebuy back the African natural resources. India, unlike India, provide funds. Okay? Yes. Yeah. Next current affairs. India UN Security Council. UN Security Council, United Nations Security Council. United Nations, what is United Nations? What is Security Council? Actually, United Nations is the organization, it is the body to take up all countries together to give the best throughout world, throughout global for the sustainable development and livelihood and security. Guys, in that way, there are certain power countries ruled United Nations. Some power countries rule United Nations. Mean these guys, some power countries mean there are 5 countries, they can have right to vote. They are the decision maker whether United Nations have stepped forward or not. Because of, just look into it, there is a war between any two countries apart from that 5. If they fight, these countries has veto power, there is a war stop or not. If any economic disputes, if any other environmental disputes, these 5 countries control all over the globe, guys. That is the power called veto power. That is the power called veto power. That is the 5 countries are America, Russia, France, Britain, China. These 5 countries are the permanent member of United Nations Security Council. These 5 members has veto power, and another 10 members also they have to take for every 2 years. That is temporary members. 10 members are temporary members, 5 members are permanent members. These 15 members has power to vote. Each member mean country. Member mean country. That is, each country has 1 vote power. Okay, any human right commission, international human right commission, or any anything, if any change is going to take place globally, these 5 countries are under rule. Guys, any permanent member, India is the one of the country looking into the permanent security council, guys. Because of we have large huge population, we want become a permanent member to get veto power in the United Nations Security Council. Okay, today this is the current affairs. 5 countries were elected to serve non-permanent members. Mean 5 is the permanent member, 10 is the non-permanent member. Among 10, these 5 are recently selected for the temporary members. What are the 5? This is important for coming exam. Recently elected temporary members of United Nations Security Council. Which of the following countries? This is the most important in the coming exam. Okay. What are the 5 countries elected in the United Nations Security Council are Bahrain, Colombia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Latvia, Liberia. These 5 countries elected temporary members of United Nations Security Council. Okay? Yeah. Permanent members are 5. That is China, France, Russia, UK, USA. These are the permanent members. And 10 members are temporary. From Africa 3, Asia 2, Latin America 2, Western Europe 2, and Eastern Europe 1. Each member has 1 vote. It is the only United Nations, that is power countries. United Nations Security Council, where it is established in 1945 along with United Nations Organization. Okay. Purpose, it is maintaining international peace and security. This is important for exam, guys. Purpose is international peace and security. 5 members has veto power, P5, non-members are 10, guys. Reforms proposal is took place in 2024 United Nations Security Council. There must be a reforms to take up some other countries, other powerful countries for veto power. Just look into this. India is the powerful country. Germany is also powerful country. Brazil also powerful country. Japan also powerful country. Why they don't have veto power? They want veto power for the permanent member. Okay, that is reforms proposal took place in 2024. Okay, yes, that is reform proposal 2024. G4 nations want India, Brazil, Germany and Japan. G4 nations, they want become permanent member in United Nations Security Council. Okay, yes. Yeah, representation does not reflect the current global of course, there are certain countries veto power. Actually, Africa, there is no nation in the veto power. Africa continent entirely, there is no nation in the veto power. South American continent, there is no nation in the veto power. Asia, there is a China, Russia is there. Europe, there is a France. America is there. Okay. Like France is Europe, okay, China, Britain, okay, but there are other countries are not there continent wise, okay, yes. Next current affairs, okay. One we did complete West African states, and second WTO we completed, and United Nations Security Council also we completed. Next current affairs is United Nations Economic and Social Council, SOC. United Nations Economic and Social Council, guys, Economic and Social Council. India become a member in this council, guys. This is the question they might ask you in the coming exam. India has been elected in United Nations Economic Social Commission for the year 2026 to 2028. For the 2 years term, India elected for the United Nations Economic Social Council. This is important in the coming exam. Make sure there is a chance of question, guys. Make sure there is a chance of question, okay. Yeah, members, United Nations Economic Social Council, which is the functions are what? The functions are what? Statistical Commission, it is the Statistical Commission. Population and development, they look into population and because of Social Commission, right? And social development also they look into, and status of women they can look into, okay. Drugs, narcotic and drugs they can look into, crime prevention and crime justice, criminal justice, and science and technology, United Nations Forum on Forest. These are the functions take place United Nations Social Council, guys, where India selected for the year 2026 to 2028. The functions of United Nations Social Council, these functions, guys: Social Statistical Commission, development, okay, population and development, social development, and women status, narcotics and drugs, crime prevention and criminal justice, science and technology development, UN Forum on Forest. These are the functions where it is started to develop. First, New York is the capital city, okay. Yeah, the members are 54, okay. Advanced 3 dimensions sustainable development, that is economic, social and environmental. It is about sustainable, this organization is about for the sustainable development, about social, economic and environmental, okay. Social Council is social, sustainable and environmental, 3 dimension is the sustainable development goals, guys, okay. India elect under the category of Asia Pacific group. India elect under the category of Asia Pacific group, and along with India there is a China, Lebanon, Turkmenistan are also available, guys. This is United Nations Economic and Social Council. India will selected, guys. India got selected in this area, guys. Okay, I hope you guys understand this, okay. Okay, next, IALA, this is also news, guys. IALA, International, okay, Organization for Marine Aids to Navigation, okay. IALA, India participated second session of IALA Council, Vice President in Nice, France, guys, okay. This is took place in France. India also participated, okay. Yeah, third IALA General Assembly December 2025 going to be India attend. 21st is conference is took place going to take place 2027, guys, okay. Both are in Mumbai, Maharashtra, India. The 2027 IALA going to take place in Mumbai, Maharashtra, okay. Yeah, Genesis, which is established in 1957, International Association Marine Aids and Navigation, okay. Lighthouse authorities, okay. Yeah, it is the intergovernmental organization, okay, yeah, for the safety of standard setting for the faster, safe and economic efficient movement vessels. They might not ask you about organization IALA. India is going to participate in the Paris, and next India conducted in 2027 IALA. This is the keyword for this. Okay. Yeah, guys, what we discussed in this current affairs today. Yeah, what we discussed today, World Trade Organization reforms. Okay, what is World Trade Organization? How it is origin from the GATT? Okay, yeah. What are the functions of WTO? Goods and services and intellectual property rights and their functions of WTO. Okay, and ECOWAS, that is African nations. Okay, they celebrated 50th anniversary. This is okay. Okay, African nations. India also, like India become a observer country. Okay, yeah. United Nations Security Council, India also looking that. Okay, there is a temporary members, 5 members elected that countries, that is important in the coming exam. Bahrain, Colombia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Latvia and Liberia. These countries are elected for the temporary members for the year. Okay, these are the permanent members, and from Asia there are 2 members, Latin America 2 members, Africa 3 members, Western Europe and others 2, and Eastern Europe 1. These countries are selected in the United Nations Security Council, where it is established in 1945 along with United Nations. Okay, it is maintaining international peace and security, guys. This is the keyword, maintaining international peace and security for the United Nations Security Council. Okay, reforms proposals, India and other nations, that is G4 nations, India, Brazil, Germany, Japan want to become a permanent member for the veto power. Okay, yeah. And next, United Nations Economic and Social Council, India elected, this is important for exam, guys. India elected United Nations, that is Social Council, not Security Council. Social Council, it is about the year 2026 to 2028. Okay, yeah. Along with India, there are other countries. India is category of Asia Pacific. Other countries, China, Lebanon, Turkmenistan, mean Turkey, they are selected, guys. Okay, yeah. And what are the functions of United Nations Security Councils are Statistical Commission, Population and Development, and Women Security, Women Growth, and UN Forest and Narcotic Drugs, Crime Prevention and like Criminal Justice, guys. Science and Technology also. Okay, International Organization for Marine Aids Navigation, IALA. Okay, there is a second session in France, Nice, the place. Okay, India going to handle the next session, which is 2027, guys. Yeah, I hope these current affairs you guys understand. For the betterment, you have to follow my like classes. And about international relations, I am going to give you the strategic plan for the coming exams. This is the most accurate notes from the my like classes. I will give you my best for the current affairs, guys. You have to be follow and like it and share it. Thank you so much. Okay, yep.